Hi, this is Tanya Corona, and I'm here with Melanie Kay, and we're just having some talk about astrology. But one of the things that's been coming up really strongly that we're both witnessing is this new wash or wave of rebalanced divine masculine energy that's coming
Mhm.
in really strong. And I do a card draw of all my decks every 13 days. So I always start on the magnetic day, and this is the card, one of the cards that came up for me, which is
Oh,
the energy of the father.
beautiful.
So
Look at those
working,
cards.
yeah, this is from the
This
skipping the name of not the liquid crystal oracle, the archetypes, the wild and free archetype cards
Yes.
by Kim Krantz. And so I really love this deck. So this has been up for me since the magnetic day. So the last 9 days, I've been holding this energy of this divine masculine. And when I do a card draw, my husband always says, "Oh, let me draw one, let me draw one." And what came up for him was the sun, right?
Mm,
And to me, the energy of the sun is really being in that divine masculine
mhm.
energy. So I was really, really pleased that that came up for my husband because he's been really, really showing up in that really balanced divine masculine energy
Mm.
as well. And I know, Melanie, you were sharing with me some of the things that were coming up for you around
Yeah, I've noticed that. Well, personally, I have been doing this 21-day sadhana chanting with my Kundalini yoga crew that I was at the ashram with, and we were chanting 21 days Muladhara. And my mantra was really, I'm rebalancing my root chakra, I'm rebalancing my root chakra, I'm rebalancing. And I had this whole death energy come up around my father, whom I've been estranged from for, 18, 19 years and gone through. I mean, he's been my biggest teacher around
you.
expansion of the heart through grief. And there's been so many layers to that process that I've been through. And there was just this kind of little glimmer of hope a year and a half ago that we might have some resolution in this timeline. And then that crashed and crumbled, and it was just re-traumatizing, like the old
Mm.
wound. And in this mantra and this meditation at the end of it, and doing this meditation that I did here in Mount Shasta, that's where I live. um, I had a complete death of that hope that we were going to have reconciliation in this timeline. And it was, some people might think that sounds sad or something, but actually, it was so liberating, um, that now, and I teach Kundalini yoga and Shasta, as well as I do a lot of work similar to Tanya. But um, I'm just attracting more men at my, like, there's been classes where it's only men, and I'm talking like men that are in their 60s and 70s that are just so generous, so kind. They're in their practice, they're in their bodies, they're acknowledging, and they're just so benevolent. And then, like, I have this piece of land here, it's a small retreat property, and there's so much to do, and I'm juggling so many balls. And just replenishing the firewood from last winter, was felt like a huge task. We have tons of firewood. We have tons of trees that needed to be chopped down, so it's stacked. But, like, we need to split it, and this guy, one of my yoga students, brought his wood splitter over, and we had a work day, and there were 5 men that came up, just showed up to support and just help out on the land for free. And just from, and then I got to feed them. And, it was like we worked for a couple hours, and then, I had made I'd made this whole lunch before they even got there. And we got to eat and chat and have some jokes. And we worked a couple more hours, and they're like, come on, what else? What else? And I'm like, literally, guys, thank you. Like, that's enough. That's my cup is full. It's overflowing. Like,
Yeah.
really. And it's continuing. So,
Mhm.
and so we've been doing these new moon gatherings in the Mount Shasta pyramid. And the first one, I had one male and 11 women. And this time I had 7 men and 5 women.
Oh.
So it's like that. I mean, that is just showing up so clearly for me that doing that internal work and clearing that last bit of that
Mhm.
toxic masculine that was living inside me, that was living in my root chakra, just paved the way for me to be like completely in balance with myself. And it's just showing up like so, so quick. I've been talking about that with my other girlfriends too. And, we spent so much time raising the divine feminine. And I think, you know, we've done so much work in like honoring the priestess within and honoring the queen, inner queen. And it's amazing what we've done. But we've grown that, we've developed that. And I think now is time to actually define and develop what it means to hold it in yourself, the divine masculine. And I think it has to do with holding structure and form and protection, your own self protection. Like we have so many tools we can use, and we don't have to be a victim anymore to attack in any way, physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Like we can actually create those structures within ourselves, and we don't need a man to do it. Like we have that principle within us. So I think that's where our women's work lives right now.
Mhm.
Is like start developing that part of yourself.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm seeing that as well, right? To be in that energetic balance. I mean, you just gave me a beautiful Vedic chart reading, but if I look at my Western chart reading, my Mars is in my Mars is in Taurus and my Aries is in Mars is in Taurus and Venus is in Aries, right? So I've
Mm,
always had that, I don't know, like an energetic balance or like a cross, like an opposite, holding holding that divine masculine energy. But the way that it's sort of showing up for me is like you were saying, all of a sudden these men in our lives are just becoming much more neutral and grounded and chill. There's not this need to push, right? To push
mhm,
an agenda anymore, it
mhm,
seems. It seems just like, and maybe it's probably because a lot of the men in my life are getting older. My husband's retired now, but having this, I don't know, almost like this allowance for their divine feminine to come through, but
mhm,
also to just hold that gentle, kind protector in their energy field without agenda. And that's sort of what I'm seeing in
right.
my own energy field. I've always been really great at protecting my own energy, and we all have the technology, the crystal ball of light around us, right, that holds that energy protection. So, maybe that is the strong divine masculine tool in our energy field,
Mhm,
that when that's activated within all of us, we do hold that energetic space for ourselves that nobody can get up in that space.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah, I do. I think it is simultaneous, like men developing this inner feminine and we're developing this inner masculine. Like that's where I feel like the we're gonna find this incredible union
yeah.
place. And it's happening, it's really
Hmm.
happening.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm,
I think about I'm taking a Tai Chi class, and there's one where we're doing like the crossed arms. They call it the eagle arms, and it reminded me a lot of the way that you pose in Egypt, right? Where you're crossing your arms and how the energy is coming through and out your hands, and then you're redirecting it, right?
mm,
Into your energy field, into your energy
mm,
flow.
mm.
So all of those things that are, tense and transforming, we can use the alchemy of that and put it back.
Well, and I just got crossed this post about a woman who is really transmitting super high frequency kind of downloads and she was talking about the waters underneath the Giza Plateau. And I think like as we're talking about this balance of masculine and feminine too, like on a cosmic level, like where our planetary like pulse is this really strong pulse point in Egypt on the Giza Plateau is this incredible balance of like water and the
Mhm.
cosmic waters underneath the earth, and then these pyramid structures that are holding the form. So this deep feminine water earth energy with
Mhm.
these like incredible solar sky structural forms on them. Oh my
Right.
God.
Well, and the pyramid, even though it's when you look at it, it looks like a triangle. It's four.
Yeah.
It's a four. It's a square. It's the
Yes.
cube. It's the 4 4, which is the structure. The structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which now that when I was saying that, it was tripping me out because the trees behind you and the way that they're shaped actually look like a three-dimensional pyramid. If
Yeah.
you actually do like just do a little magic
Oh,
eye
right.
on it,
Right. I'm just sitting in my
imagine what
little,
you're sitting in your pyramid.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if the divine masculine energy is up for you all,
Mhm.
but there's also I did these selenite wands that have divine masculine and divine feminine energy. This is the divine masculine one, and so I look at like green tourmaline for the heart chakra in the divine masculine, whereas pink tourmaline would be like the divine feminine counterpart of that. Carnelian for the sacral chakra, where the divine feminine component is the crocite, right? So
Mm,
there's like this energetic balance, right? Tiger's eye for the divine masculine, which is really strong in your personal power, but then citrine for the divine feminine, which brings in sort of like that je ne sais quoi, the intangible abundance that flows through when you're holding in your personal power. So
mm.
I've been working with these cute little selenite wands
Um,
that I made. Yeah, amethyst for for the third eye and the crown, for the divine feminine, divine masculine, and then for the divine feminine fluorite.
mm,
Yeah. So we can use those counterparts to help, the counterpart crystals to help work together with the energy we're balancing within ourselves right now.
yes.
Yeah. Well,
Mm,
thanks. Thanks for
thank you.
sharing. And
Yeah,
yeah, so it's been on my radar and I know it was on yours too. So
definitely.
more of that.
More of
Right.
that, please. And
I
yes,
I
thank you.
know. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.
Okay. Peace.